All right, guys, going to do a quick review of the session from Tuesday of this last week. Just looking at kind of our objectives and what we wanted to accomplish. Reminder of the objectives: we want to improve our ability to maintain a tight team shape from a medium block and all those pieces that come with it, and then improve the team's ability to read the game cues in transition. We didn't focus a ton on that. That was more of just a byproduct of our work, but those are our two objectives for the session. So if we're looking at this exercise, so we'll focus really in on this exercise where we spent a lot of time. And this action, as we highlight here, is when the ball gets wide, that outside back commits, and then our behaviors following that moment. So the thing that I wanted to highlight as far as some of the things that we'll look at is the role of the 9. So as you can see, the 9 being positioned in between the 6 and the other center backs. So they don't necessarily are pressing or defending an individual, but they're sitting in gaps looking to press the exit pass of the opposition. Our midfield line, which we'll see is not great in sometimes, but here we need to keep that depth and the shifting and covering. This allows us to cover some of those spaces and again make it really tough for the opposition to access the central space. And then that similar shape that we expect from the midfield line is done by the back line as well. So we're all connected, and we see those diagonal lines closing off space and forcing and keeping the game wide. So we'll look at a clip of I don't want to say to fail because we end up regaining the ball, but some of the passes that we want to cut out. So we watch, ball gets in between our attacking mid and our left winger. So we'll watch again. So if we look at this, the big thing for us is the shape of the left wing. In this case, it's Lionel. What we'd ask is for him to probably take 2 more steps back so he has a little bit more depth and time to cut those passes out. And at the same time, that would allow him to get out to their outside back if they shifted it wide. So we drop Lionel in. We want him to be positioned a little bit deeper. I highlight our holding mid just so you know that these roles are shared. So in this case, our holding mid Samuel is sitting in between their attacking mids. He is able to help our left winger get out and help press, but he can also help Aiden with the other one. So it's shared responsibility. In addition to this, he's also stepped up. So our attacking mid, Dom, has stepped forward. So Samuel has moved forward as the holding mid to reduce the space. We're trying to keep the space between lines tight. And again, as I said, so Lionel would be in just a touch more, a little bit deeper. That allows him to cut that pass out and then also get wide. A side note to this is we almost want to give the appearance that the opposition can play this pass. So we sit in between players. This coaxes, makes them believe, almost tricks them into playing these passes, and then we're able to step, regain, and break. And we're regaining and breaking running forward, which is an advantage, which we'll see later. A positive clip. This is where, from my perspective, we engage at 100% when it reaches our space to defend. So we're patient, circulates, we're really aggressive here to get stepped out, force the game back and wide. Don presses, then gets back in and reconnects. We find our shape. It gets in that space. We're aggressive again. They keep circulating. And boom, and now we force this area to play. And though we get outplayed right away, it was a difficult turn. We had the numbers. And as you watch it again, you'll see as that ball hits into that space and their outside back gets the ball, he really has limited options. We've shifted across with our striker, our attacking mid, our holding mid, our outside back, and there's really no place to play. Even though he wins this first duel, there's really not a place for the right back to escape and play, and then our break is off. So look, he wins this battle, but look at where we're at. Look at where all the numbers are. There's nowhere to play. We get facing forward, and we're off. To highlight the transition to attack piece, we'll stay there. So we talk about attacking cues. So when we regain the ball, what do we see? What are we looking for? In this case, the cue is we've regained the ball. We're facing forward with space and numbers. So we want to go quickly. If the opposite is there, so if we regain with limited space, and I would say like this space is pretty tight, and we're not really organized to get our numbers forward, we want to retain the ball and allow us to get into our shape. This helps us prevent another transition. We don't want to force something that isn't there so that we then have to turn around and defend again. So again, if I'm highlighting this, I'm looking into this space. So Dom's facing forward. If we can escape this initial area with a pass out to Aiden and into where Abai is, I think it's Midu's over there. We've got time and space to play. So that's the space we want to attack. It was successful in the moment. We missed the goal, but numerically and space-wise, that's probably the area that we were going to transition to and have success. And so finally, I want to share an example of good work from a similar concept of a medium block, maybe a little bit lower than what we were training. This is Denmark and Ukraine. So really, really aggressive, highlighting how each line steps to cover the next. So if one jumps and presses, the guy behind him steps and reduces space. It's patient. They let him move the ball, but as soon as it gets into those spaces, they snip it and they're off, and it's aggressive. First pass forward, they attack the space that's left behind, and then obviously a really quality finish. So, all right, guys. So hopefully, some reinforcement of those concepts. It gives us a chance to watch it again. Hopefully clarifies any questions, but we'll obviously spend more time as we move forward with these ideas.